32E. Join the Discord to learn more.
Welcome back to 1 Bitcoin and 32 Ethereum and 245 Axies teams. We're rebranding the show. That's all we talk about, Axie. So we're going to kick it off with Axie today, guys. How are you, boys?
Oh, good.
Pretty good. Awesome. I mean, Sean, we're going to talk about Axie because this is something we've been beaten on the bush about for 8 months now, right? And now it's like, here it is. What, are we not going to talk about it? Like, it's been crazy.
That's
the media
true.
the last
It wasn't on. It wasn't on our list of things to talk about today. But let's just take a quick look here, people. SLP's bouncing all over the place at the moment, but up 8.4% of the last hour. It's now, well, as we record, at 0.367. Was as high as 41. Were you saying, Mr. Gonzo, earlier today?
Yeah, it almost touched 41 on.
Okay, AXS up to $18, over $18. Good Lord. So, I'm ramping up my scholars. As I say, we don't want to turn it into just an Axie show today, boys, but it's pretty hard not to have a chat on what's happening there. On that note, thoughts on this massive price appreciation? Maybe first you, Stefano.
It's one of the things that we have been mentioning for a few times. It's that ratio that is still in place. FOMO is kicking in. Everybody wants to breeding and becoming managers and having scholarship because the return is good. So there is demand. There are new players that wants to come in. Demand and supply is perfectly in ratio. And right now there is so much demand that we're really seeing pricing going up and up and up and up. The question is always the same. When is it gonna stop? That's the only thing. It's not that I want to be the bear against Axie or anything like that. Is that let's be realistic for a second.
Hey, Stefano, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely a market. What goes up must comes down, right? That's the mentality, right? Every project does it, right? But then when you look at the metrics of the how many Axies there are, the amount of players they have, active users, right? So they're approaching 500,000, right? And so 500,000, that means they need 1.5 million Axies just to field that many teams.
Have
right?
you got some? You got a screen share on that note, Mr. Gonzo?
On the Axie marketplace.
Yeah, and then I want to get a bit of advice from you guys about
look at the daily volume, 31 million.
Yep. You need to screen share that, Batty.
I thought I did.
Nope.
Good one. Is it sharing now?
Nope. Yes.
Here we go.
No. What is what's going on?
Right, talk us through it.
Well, I mean, in the last 24 hours, we have $31 million in Axie sales for 50,000 Axies, right? I mean, the crazy thing is when you look at the marketplace, right? For sale, there's 50,000 Axies for sale, right? That's crazy. But then you look at all of the Axies, they just touched 2 million. So there's 2 million Axies now. It took 3 years to get to the first million Axies, and then it took 19 days to get to the second million. So even still, if you take 500,000 daily active users with 3 Axies each, that's 1.5 million. That means there's only 500,000 other Axies. And if we look at the growth metrics here, everything's just going, this is weekly, right? So now they've got 492,000 Axie holders, or in-game battlers, which explains why the network keeps crashing. And it's so difficult to play because everything keeps disconnecting. But that's part of the growth, I guess, right? Parabolic growth, testing the technology. 400 and almost 500,000 holders, monthly volume 300 million, which is insane.
So, guys, let me ask you. I'm about to do some more breeding with Mr. Gonzo today. What is your thinking? Have you figured out where you're in profit, where you're not with these current prices of AXS and SLP? What are your thoughts on that? Have you got any strategies moving forward now, given these price changes? Is that changing your thinking around just breeding and selling, creating more teams? What are your thoughts on that, guys?
Look at the prices of the stuff that's being sold right now. 0.2 ETH, 0.26, 0.18, 0.2, 0.18, 0.25. Like everything's selling for $500, $600, like 350, 370. That's the floor, right? I mean, there's a demand for the Axies. Like there's such a demand for Axies. So, I mean, sorry, I could see it going down, but not anytime soon. I mean, because all the scholars that you have, who's given them up, right? Nobody's given them up, right? So the demand just keeps going, I think, for a while.
On that note, as sort of scholar managers, and obviously everyone's sort of quite embarrassing watching my progress as a manager here, which is hasn't been perfect so far. Apologise to my team. We're on top of it now. I've got the spreadsheet in place, and I'm going to be growing that. But yeah, I'm really trying to wrap my head around the math a bit more now before I do some breeding. Stefano, what are your thoughts on this at these price points?
So if we're considering like breeding on the same pair, to oversimplifying, so if we're considering like verging and verging, 1 out of 7, 1 out of 7, to keep things like super
Easy,
simple, obviously.
Yeah. Breeders tricks.
So first breed and second breed at the moment are still in profit. So if you have like new axes coming in, you want to sell them at the verging, you want to sell them after that you breed 1 time, you want to sell them after you breed 2 times, you are going to be in profit. Third, that's where we're starting being very, very close on a potential return. So that opens up to obviously what you want to do on number 3. Because number 1, number 2, it's up for debate, but it's really up to you. Is either you sell it and you make money, or you put that in a scholar, you're still making money. So it's a win-win. Number 3, it comes down to like, do you want to take that risk? Because there are a few points on that. This is calculated on the floor price. So if, for example, you end up having a pure, like a 6 out of 6, or something that is very unique, or something that is very good, then your floor price automatically goes up a lot. And so you get a return. That's a gamble.
So you raised an important point there. If you're creating the scholar team, you're still in profit. Question to you, as a fairly new manager, obviously we've been involved in this for a while. I wish I probably started a bit earlier like you boys. Anyway, what happens, because obviously I paid one of my scholars today. This guy has clearly been sitting there grinding. He's done very, very well in a short period of time. Some of my other accounts, not so much. Part of that's my fault. I didn't get QR codes to them. But I'm sure you've both had scenarios where maybe someone's just not really using the thing so much. How do you go about deciding whether you keep a scholar on? Have you got thresholds? How does that work?
In my specific case, I do review on the production of SLPs every single week. And I basically see immediately if someone is lacking behind or not. So step number 1 is always assuming that the person is not in the best possible situation to perform well, which means, translate, they need a better team. So that's the number 1. Never pointing the finger, always pointing the finger on yourself.
The internet. Yeah, the internet as well, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But it could be the internet, could be the server not working properly, like those type of things. But if we see, for example, that 99% of the scholars are performing like this, and then there are 1 or 2 that are very, very lacking behind, it's either okay, it's my fault on the team, so I want to check if this person is having a good team or not. And at that point, it goes on warning. So your first week you underperform, I just let you know, and it's fine. I'm just hey, maybe you want to look into that, what's going on, You talk with the person, always trying to be transparent. Then there is a second warning if that happens again, where you're look, either you catch up or you're out. I'm sorry, but you really need to move at this point. And then there is a third one. If it happens a third one, then it's done. End of the story. Get your SLP that you have produced till the time. You're going to be replaced.
Okay.
That is what I do, but everybody is different.
Yeah. Okay. Any closing comments on Axie before we move on to other topics, Mr. Gonzo?
One about the breeding. What it'll do is eventually just don't breed shit. If you don't know what you're doing breeding, then you won't breed. I think that'll be the end game, right? It'll become the price of the breeding there'll be an equilibrium, right? If you breed good Axies, you'll be in profit, but you breed shit Axies, you got to sell at a loss, right? So I think the system will eventually equalize like that. So, the peers will probably go up and really skilled teams will go up, but the floor will be below the price it costs to breed.
Yep.
I think that'll be, the eventual equilibrium, right? And then about, what was the one just after that? With the scholars, Sean, the last topic you guys covered.
Yeah, your process on like when do you decide if you want to change the scholar?
Right. Every 2 weeks I check, and if they're down from the week before, I say what's up, and then they tell me whatever. Then I just make a call. Rarely do I give them warnings or anything. I just ask them, and they'll say, "Oh, boss, my internet sucks." And I say, "Okay, well, do you want to give it up?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know." And I say, "Okay, well, I'll just, come back when the situation gets better, right?"
Yep.
Or if they complain about the team, I upgrade them. If it's time, like sometimes they have exams or their time isn't the same, right? So I just kind of go case by case.
Yep.
So,
okay, fantastic. Look, I'm an absolute convert in this blockchain gaming space. Just looking at the data, it's clearly a massive winner in the overall blockchain and crypto ecosystem. I only see this getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's got a few issues, I think, coming up in the future around taxation and payment rails and so forth, but we won't necessarily go into that today. But while we're talking gaming, Stefano, I think you're probably one of the better people in the entire space on this topic. So I'll hand it over to you for any updates or thoughts on other things happening in the blockchain gaming world.
Yeah, so yesterday, Chain Monsters has released their Alpha 5.1. Now, it seems like a random number. Truth is that it's very, very important because this is the first alpha that they've released where you can earn NFTs. And so they have basically this quest in the game. It's a kind of like a copycat of Pokemon. And you can win up to 5 NFTs. Why this might be of interest for some people is that traditionally, early NFTs are the Genesis one. And so if the game becomes popular, those are the things that have value normally because they're very rare. They're the first one issue and so on. However, big warning sign appearing. The game is in alpha stage, which means that it's very buggy or kind of it has bugs. And number 2, early access normally on these type of things costs money. The game costs $30. You need to buy that. It's not free that you enter and so on. So just one thing on that. Number 2,
that seems pretty good though. In comparison to a crypto product, normally crypto products, they'll do all kinds of sales and they won't have anything. To have an alpha working, that's great. And a $30 price tag to people in crypto is not that much. So
that's true. I agree.
That sounds totally reasonable. That sounds great.
It's true, but on the other side, it's always important to make sure that people are on board on these type of things. It's one of those nice things.
You sold me. I'm in.
That's the important thing. Is similar to Light Knight. Light Knight has a price tag of $20. Use the same exactly model. $20. You are in a pre-developed stage, so you know that you're gonna have something buggy and so on. But on the other side, by playing the game, you're getting skins, NFTs, as well as you're earning 100 Satoshi per session that you're making every 3 hours. So it's one of those path on play to earn that has been developed a lot, where projects are giving that early access. Age of Rust is another example on that. You pay that initial tag to enter into the game. That gives you an early advantage because you can start playing and earn the NFTs or things relating to the game before anybody else. And if you don't want to put those money, it's fine. Just wait 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it's going to be. And then you are going to start playing for free. It's a different path. It works for some games. It doesn't for others. It's good that, in my opinion, we present these different kind of things. Number 2 on the news side, Ember Sword is if you've been following the space a little bit, has been covering a lot of issues, I would say, for their tokenomics, their land sales, the bot, they've had a lot of controversial and so on. However, they're now trying to make things good with the community, and they have launched a special pre-sale edition of the land, where basically like you are getting in contact with them, you're texting them, you're presenting your case, you're telling them who you are, why you wish to have land, and all of those things. And they're basically like reviewing your application. And then if if they select you, you can actually buy land at the original pre-sale price of like a few weeks ago, I think, or a few months ago. Again, this is an opportunity for people that maybe were interested before earlier and they didn't manage to get into the pre-sale because of like the bot and the classic situations that happen all the time. That's an option. You can just like go to their website if you want, complete your form, and so on. Number 3, Nine Chronicles. Another big update. Nine Chronicles was having a lot of problems with reorgs, with like mining and all of those things. And now they've finally got to terms and to agreement with some players, let's put it like that, or individuals in the community that were kind of like generating issues, I would say. And so now the mining process, as well as like the reorg is like reducing a lot, and the mining process, the rewards are actually like increasing quite a lot. I can confirm that because I'm mining on the daily. The rewards has been increasing quite a lot. So if you have a CPU and you just want to like sit that there and do something for you, it's pretty good time to enter over there. And once again, no money
Sold
to be
again.
put up front.
Yeah.
Stefano, no,
I've
Stefano,
got
that's
a
the
new
one.
PC on the way specifically for mining.
Man, I got the Nine Chronicles is like on my list of like, once I get to 125, I'm going to start the Nine Chronicles thing. Get my node going again and get all the stupid internet stuff. But that's the next thing. Totally want to get a character
Nine
going on.
Chronicles is definitely good. So speaking of which, sorry, because you mentioned that. Speaking of which, there is a vote going on Gala node.
Because shit, I gotta get back on there.
See, Look at this guy buying nodes, spending tens of thousands of dollars.
Dude, if the internet was sorted, it would be a way different story. I'm just having such a pain in the butt with my internet getting it organized. So
that's fair. Speaking of which, by the way, Gala Game has announced a new game in development that in theory should be released at the end of this year, in Q4 of 2021. The style of game is a Dota style game, or like a brawler game. So it's a PvP where like you got like your team and you're playing like against someone else, like Dota, like League of Legends, like those style of game. It's being developed by a guy that is pretty famous, but I don't remember the name, unfortunately. Apologies for that. And right now, if you have a Gala node, you can actually vote to say if you want to have this game jumping into the ecosystem or not. Why is this something that maybe people might be interested or not? So first disclaimer before we got into the juicy part or the good part. A node into Gala ecosystem costs a bit of money. Right now, I think we're at $11,400. It's not like a cheap investment, let's be honest. However, what you get in return by doing that is that, number one, you have it run and you're earning Gala tokens every single day by doing that. On the other side, because they have all of these games that are actually going into the ecosystem, you as a node runner, you are entitled to receive NFTs from all of these different games. And on top of that, now they're also making a model where these games are going to have like their own tokens, their own currencies, similar to like what we've seen, for example, with the Rev ecosystem. The Sandbox as the Sand token, F1 Delta Time as the Rev token, Crazy Defense Hero as the Tower token, and so all of these things. And so on top of the NFTs that obviously you own in the ecosystem, there are also the tokens. And by running the node, you got the Gala, because you're supporting the network, the NFTs from the game, as well as the token from the game. Now, keep in mind one thing. The Galas comes every single day. The node, like the NFTs, are very random. You get them some, you don't get them. I got, for example, like 4, I think, since like 6 or 7 months. Jordan has 2 nodes running, so it's probably like getting a little bit more because he has like double the amount of power that I push into the network. And the tokens, those are not available yet. So, they're going to come later on. But that's another thing that is ongoing now. And Jordan is sharing that on the screen. That's how the vote works. It's very simple. On your node, you click on voting and you just say yes or no. Do you want the game inside the ecosystem? It's basically asking you, like, would you like to get additional rewards in the future? So,
99% yes. Like, no shit, who doesn't want another game? Like, that's great, though. Thanks.
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty
for
much-
Hopefully that'll
people,
get me a nice little reward for voting.
for anyone
No.
watching this that
Oh,
isn't
what?
a gamer, you don't have to be a gamer. There's, the investment opportunities in the space are huge, and anyone that's been following this channel, I'm sure, has picked up on a number of. I know they have. Shout out to my little cuzzy actually, who turned 2K into 20K following this channel and just bought himself a car. And I think you're getting some news like that from some of your scholars as well, Mr. Gonzo.
Oh, yeah, man. Hell yeah. This is awesome. My man, Spaghetti, was a Gonzo apprentice, basically my first scholar. He bought a car with his SLP gains, which is pretty awesome. 75 Chevy Nova. Why is the screen share not working again?
I
Yeah.
used to have a Chevy Nova.
Oh, nice. Really?
Yeah, for about 3 days. Someone punched it outside a bar in LA. Yeah.
Check it out. You see it?
Was actually the worst selling car in Chevy's history, because Nova means doesn't go in Spanish.
Yeah. Can you see it, Sean? Is it?
No offense to your car, Spaghetti. I love the Chevy Nova.
There he is. There with his Axie team in his Axie car.
Awesome.
We're
We
gonna
love
make a-
those sort of stories, people. Keep them coming in. We're not a shilly channel. Anyone that follows us knows that. We're really trying to help everyone get ahead. So these sort of stories are just fantastic for us. Okay, guys. Yeah, look, gaming, blockchain gaming people, the numbers speak for themselves. If you don't know about it, subscribe to our channel. We do a heap of gaming content, and that will keep coming thick and fast. Probably about time we got a Decentraland headquarters as well, boys. Something we'll have a chat about. Have you heard of Immutable X or Luvium? I'm hearing those thrown around a wee bit lately.
Immutable X is the ecosystem, the blockchain where gods and chains run. I do have installed it on on my PC, by the way. Here's the thing: Immutable X is quite good because it's free. It's very similar to the Wax blockchain where you do transactions and are totally free. So that's the plus side. The bad side is that, unfortunately, when I tried to play God and Chain, I was for 20 minutes waiting to find an opponent, and I didn't. So, I love to test out things, but
you're early when.
You're early when you're the only one in the room.
Yeah. Speaking of checking things out, we should have blockchain cuties on shortly as well. Been chatting away to those people for quite a while now. So I've done the ID verification. It is me.
What?
Long story, but we're getting there. We'll have them on the show very shortly.
Guys,
moving on. Let's get on to some different topics. I think you've got some other screen shares for us there, Mr. Gonzo. Do you want to bring those
in the
up?
news? We've got Signum becomes the first bank in the world to offer Ethereum 2.0 staking.
You've got the article there.
That, but you didn't read that because there is no screen sharing.
I don't know how it's still so wonky. What do I got to do here?
Well, I remember when we started using this software, someone sold it as I just bought this software. It's amazing. It
Wrong
can
one,
do
Mr.
20,000 things.
Come on, we've nearly got a one-take wonder. So listen, the reason I wanted to bring this up, and we won't go into a massive amount of detail here, but the headline, Signum becomes the first bank in the world to offer Ethereum 2.0 staking. I know we have covered this many, many times off the channel, Stefano, but it was certainly a topic of conversation with a lot of my crypto group about ETH 2.0 staking. Where is it currently at? What's coming up, and how do you see it playing out for the average person that's maybe halfway to 32 ETH or has reached 32 ETH? What are the options right now? What's in the pipeline? How are you personally going to be approaching it?
So right now it's still in development. What it's coming out is that the 4th of August, if nothing bad happens, there is going to be the EIP 1559 that is going to be introduced. And with 1559, we're going to have burn mechanisms coming into Ethereum, which means that a part of the transaction of the gas that you're paying will be burned forever. And this, in theory, with demand and supply and usage and everything, could turn Ethereum into a deflationary tokens. So supply reducing year after year. If you're looking at like 2.0 is when we're basically like moving from POW, proof of work, as Ethereum is now, to POS, proof of stake, which means that miners are not there anymore. You don't need like your mining rigs, your machines, and all of that stuff anymore. You just need your node on a laptop or on a computer or whatever. And in order to be a new miner, which is called validator in 2.0, you need 32 ETH in order to do that. That's your requirement basically for that. That will be introduced in theory at the end of this year in Q4, but realistically, I don't think we're going to be there, to be honest, as they already have done like few months of delay on 1559. I think that actually Q1 of next year is when we're really going to see that demerge happening. Is this event where, you know, POW will be replaced and POS will come in place. Why is this
someone
important?
else thinks that as well, Stefano, because I see someone's taking out options on Ethereum at a price of $50,000 for first quarter next year.
Well, I think that
Insert old Vitalik meme. When 2.0.
Pretty much, yeah, the super old Vitalik one. But that's the thing. So why is this like very important? Is because we're gonna like have Ethereum being scalable at that point. So we're gonna move from like 15 transactions per second to potentially at the first stage 1,500 transactions. So we're basically like gonna have Ethereum 2.0 turning out to be Polygon, with the only difference that it will not be like Polygon. It will be decentralized and secure like Ethereum. That's kind of the thing. Now, the reason why
this is super interesting here. Did you see this? It's the second biggest staking network with
5%. Yeah. Compared to 70% of ADA.
What the hell? That's insane.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Cardano is being like, well, but that's the thing. Like, with all the respect for Cardano, what else do? You can't really use those tokens, so you just stake them or you flip them, and it makes sense if you believe in the project long term. You're waiting for the smart contracts to be released. You know, you stake it in the meanwhile, and that's a very nice thing. I hope that Ethereum would actually like catch up on same numbers, because if that happens, man, the value is going to be like crazy.
Any hardcore Cardano people out there that would like to come on and debate Stefano on this channel, I'd like to host that. Some of my crypto crowd gave me a load of shit the other day for not covering Cardano. I'm no expert on it, but I did find this interesting with 31 billion stakes, 70% of its current supply.
What do you cover on Cardano exactly? Just like what debate you want to have? You don't have smart contracts once, and I say that again. I don't have anything against Cardano, but as long as you don't have smart contracts, there is no conversation, because you can't do anything.
Okay, moving on.
Cardano smart contracts is much like Bitcoin and Lightning. The promised land. The promised land.
Lightning was very much the promised land. When I was a Bitcoin maximalist, I've read many articles on Lightning Network and put them in my large leather-bound books, and they've sat there covered in dust. But yeah, look, Lightning Network, there are things happening now. I think what we have seen out of El Salvador, I'd put Tonga in the same category. They're looking at making Bitcoin legal tender. Now, the rationale behind this is the amount of remittance that comes into these countries. It's, I think, 30% plus of El Salvador's GDP. Actually, much more than that for somewhere like Tonga. That's up around 50%. So, I've always, how the hell is Bitcoin applicable here? Obviously, it's Lightning. These are very small transactions. You can load some Satoshis onto this network and then effectively transact for free, moving very small amounts of money. So one thing I am going to be doing, and we've got a picture of Jack Mallers up there at the moment. His company's called Strike. So that is effectively utilizing the Lightning Network. So he's very much at the forefront of what's happening in El Salvador. So on our next show, I'm actually going to do a bit of a review of, if you want to click that next tab there, Mr. Gonzo, I believe it's for Sphinx.
Sphinxter.
So fortunately, we're recording this, and I will have mine set up, because if you just pan down there, you can basically go on and get a bit further down, please.
Reflink.
You can get a node, but looking at the light, there's actually no dedicated nodes left available. Just pan up a bit more for me. There's only a handful of the light nodes left, so we're going to have a bit of a look at what this does, and then if you
Isn't that decentralized Discord?
Yes.
Or am I completely wrong? Isn't this the product that is doing like Discord but fully decentralized?
Yeah. So it's chat rooms. You can stream
Yeah.
your podcasts on here. So yeah, we're gonna have a dig around on this. It was actually Blue that flagged it for me the other day. He's using it, so I'm gonna have a bit of a dig around. But really, the reason for bringing this up is, after years, the woman behind it all, her name is Elizabeth Stark. I think they've been working on this on Lightning now for at least 5 or 6 years. Wasn't particularly well funded, back in 2017. I think it was our man from Twitter that was putting up most of the capital to try and make this happen. So clearly things are moving now. So, as an ex-Bitcoin maximalist, I'll certainly be, it's great to have something in the Bitcoin ecosystem to really dig into it and see how that is progressing. Quite clearly it's starting to progress fast. So Lightning takeaways from today so far, people. If you don't know about blockchain gaming, you don't have to like gaming. This is where the action is. Lightning also now looks like it's going to be extremely interesting to be having a look at moving forward. So next story, Mr. Gonzo, what do we got?
I almost bought a node.
Oh, okay. I didn't think this one would come up first, but yep. All right, I'll comment on this.
This isn't first, Sean. This is third.
Oh,
Fourth.
sorry. Okay. Yep.
This is fourth.
So, anyway, I'll cover this now. So this is actually a story I wrote about back in 2017. There was a company that many of you will be familiar with called the Long Island Iced Tea Company, the drink. I'm sure we've all had one.
Yeah.
This guy here, his name is Eric Watson, a bit of a playboy figure in New Zealand. He came in and changed the name to the Long Blockchain Company. Share price went up hundreds of %, and he was been investigated by the FBI over this, but civil charges are now coming his way for insider trading. So a couple of takeaways here. I mean, it sort of shows you how much the SEC does have on its plate. It's actually quite a small department, and this is going back years, and they've only just formally charged this guy. It probably seems quite random that I am bringing it up, but I have a personal history with this individual, not a good one, a really fucking horrible one, actually. He's just spent some time in prison, Pentaball, for a contempt of court. I'd like to see the guy back in prison. He's an absolute scumbag, but really, this isn't for me to voice my personal grievances, but what I would say is, that's what the SEC is there to do. It's there to protect people over dodgy behaviors in the crypto space. There's a ton of them. This is a mainstream company coming into the crypto world and taking the piss. So really pleased to see this happening. Good on you, Eric.
Nice. That's hilarious.
Next. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a hell of a lot of this sort of scammy stuff going down at the moment. We've obviously had the Brazilian Bitcoin king. They basically turned around and said, "Oh, we've lost $300 million worth of Bitcoin," but now they've
Oopsie.
Yeah, so
Like the guy that threw his hard drive in the trash in England. Did you hear about that? With like
that wasn't
7,000
criminal.
people?
That was just dumb.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's whoops.
No. These guys said they lost it, but apparently they didn't. So it looks like the Bitcoin king and his boys are also going to prison. I mean, of a notable mention as well is the Evil crowd who are trying to get 70 million out of people. That's showing up on the news down here in New Zealand. They've hacked a bunch of preschools. So I don't know how the preschools are going to get Bitcoin to you, Dr. Evil. But yeah, good luck with that one. What else have we got in that list?
That was the 4 that you gave me.
Okay. I thought there might have been one more. Let me just double
Was there?
check. No, you're right. Yeah, that was it. Okay. So anything else today, boys, before we wrap it up?
I want to say,
Stefano?
okay.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Gonzo.
I just want to say welcome to the 10. Well, there's 15 new scholars since last week. Between the live stream that we did last week and expanding the family. Right, it's all scholars, friends of friends. So we've added 5 more scholars from Venezuela and a couple more Filipinos. So welcome everybody.
And an Argentinian.
Yes, Argentinian. Nice. Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. So that's cool. We're growing.
Yeah, I just sent her team before we went on air. We have more ready for Friday. I'm about to do some breeding with Mr. Gonzo today. We've got some eggs that I'm waiting to hatch, which should be done tomorrow. But yeah, I think that'll do us for today, boys. Anything? Any parting thoughts, comments? Anything else you've done since the last show?
Haven't done anything.
No, I've done a lot
just
in reality, but I've done a lot. But I'm taking like some weeks to actually like think of a couple of stuff. I want to make this entire thing to something more serious, like more structure around like the play to earn and so on. Still like thinking about like how to really like proceed that in the next stage. But if you spend time on Discord, you will see that like more than once I've been asking for like, are there other games that we can have like scholarship models, new things to test it out, spending time to like going digging on like what's the actual return that you can have on this and that. I want to bring this to the next level. I have nothing against Axie, don't take me wrong. I love Axie, but I'm a strong believer that like putting all eggs in one basket is not a good strategy. And, I agree with what Gio has mentioned on Twitter. Everybody's looking for the next Axie when Axie is the next Axie. And as of today, I totally agree with that. There is nothing that can rival Axie at this stage. However, the word is not done by one project.
Yeah, there's always the next guy.
Oh, absolutely. I really love that element of what you've brought to the Hard Forking channel, guys. Stefano, I'd rate you as absolutely right at the top of your game in this entire space with your knowledge of what's going on there. So your involvement's hugely appreciated, mate. And we're not a shilly channel. I think we don't have the numbers of other channels, but look, they'll plug something to you and pump and dump it in a week or two. What we're trying to demonstrate is that long-term survival, the use case, how to what communities really are doing something. I appreciate a lot of the great feedback we get from people who do take the time to listen to our content. Yeah, a lot of it is a bit longer form than others and doesn't tell you buy this and it'll go up tomorrow. It's not what we're about. And I know a lot of you have done very well from taking the time and getting involved. So congratulations there. All right, guys, we'll see you back here with these two for our Friday show. I do enjoy that, and I'll be back here tomorrow for people that are interested in looking at charts and talking price with Blue, and on Thursday with Leanne and Jesse. But thanks for your time today, guys. Most appreciated. I'm sure the community really appreciates it too. Welcome to anyone new. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Join our Discord. Links are below. Cheers, boys. Catch you next time.
Later, bros.
1 BTC and 32 ETH.